Hey guys! Hope everyone is safe and healthy. This video is dedicated to highlight some patterns in Tekken that are useful to remember, especially in the heat of a match. None of these things are anything revolutionary or special, it's more like safe assumptions that you can make in the middle of a match that can help you win sometime. Of course, it goes without saying that these don't always apply, but will assist you a lot in unfamiliar matchups. So, let's start! First rule is throw countering leaves you at a frame advantage or resets the neutral. If you ever break a throw during a match, be it intentionally or on accident, it's not a bad idea to try to fish for a counter hit if the opponent is near enough. Some throws completely reset the neutral and leave some distance between you two, but the ones that leave you in close proximity to the opponent often leaves you at a frame advantage, so fast counter hit moves will beat out attempts at offense after the throw. When in doubt, 1-2 is a safe option to stop their offense, and it's unlikely to be punished if they don't attempt to attack. Second rule is, some characters only have one command throw. By that, I don't mean 1+2, which is pretty much a generic throw since everyone has one. I mean some characters only have one other command throw, be it a 1 throw or a 2 throw. Checking which command throws your opponent has access to during the loading screen will mean you don't have to look at the specific arm to break them, but instead, the general motion of using one arm or both arms, since you can break both generic throws with 1 or 2. For example, Ana has a 2 command throw and a 1+2 throw. So whenever I see one arm extended, regardless of which arm it is, I'll always go for 2, since it will cover both her command throw and her generic throws. There should be a list on the screen of which character has which throw. Pause if you'd like to note them down. Third rule is, never press buttons after getting hit with a ballerina stun. This may seem like a no-brainer, but I've encountered many players that press buttons after getting hit with a ballerina stun. There is, in most cases, nothing you can do afterwards. If your character spins, you need to block mid or low, which also means you can duck highs on a read. You're at such a severe frames disadvantage, so unless you have a solid read, it's best not to contest your opponent. The fourth rule is, shoulders and butts are almost always unsafe. If you're playing against an unfamiliar matchup and you see a shoulder, it's safe to assume it's very punishable. The same thing applies to, well, butt attacks. Fast shoulders tend to be launch punishable. When unsure, use a 13-frame punisher. The fifth rule is, punishers tend to be punishable. 10-frame punishers are the safest, but some are very punishable. 12 frames and above are almost always punishable in some way. This can be very useful when you know your character's frame data. If you use a move that's -12 on block and your opponent punishes you, you can assume that their move, or string, is punishable somehow. Pay attention and see if it looks like it ends in a high. If not, then it's safe to assume the mid used is punishable. Over long sets, this can help you punish accordingly, but as always, the best thing is to lab these moves to know for certain what the frame data is. The sixth rule is, hopkicks are generally -13. Visually identifying a hopkick isn't that hard. They're quick jump kick attacks that launch you, and they often start in 15 frames. If you see a hopkick, or a hop knee, your 13-frame punisher is a safe option to use. The seventh rule is, sidestepping depends heavily on your current frames. This also may seem obvious to some, but to those of you who don't know, you shouldn't always sidestep after getting blocked. If you just used a move that left you at a frames disadvantage, depending on how severe the disadvantage is, you might not be able to sidestep. You can sidestep with no big issues until -3. -4 to -6 is when you'll run into some issues against fast moves that have tight tracking. Beyond that point is when you should block or defend in other ways. The eighth rule is, don't currying backdash at close distance. This is very important to remember. If you're within your opponent's attack range, using currying backdash can be very dangerous, as you could get hit by mids while doing the currying backdash input. This happens often, so if you're backdashing and you're getting clipped by a move, it's because the move connected as you ducked. Only use the normal backdash until you're at a safer distance, then transition to currying backdashing. This one is less of a rule and more just general tips on how to deal with these types of strings. You can usually identify if the second hit is a high or a mid by the height of the attack. If the attack is really high up, You can duck after getting hit by the low to launch punish. Sometimes, characters have a mid option as well to discourage you from ducking. That mid option is always punishable, usually -13 and above. Be careful though, some of these strings are natural combos, which means you will get hit by the whole thing if the low connects. If you can block the second hit after getting hit by the low, then it's not a natural combo. I should also note that the ones that aren't normally a natural combo become a natural combo on counter hit. So if you get hit by one of those strings, even though you've successfully punished them previously, it's because the low connected as a counter hit. And the last rule is, power crushes are either a safe high or a punishable mid. All high power crushes are safe except Marduk's forward 1+2, and all mid power crushes are unsafe except Zafina's forward 3, Eddie's up back 3, and King's forward 2+3 if spaced properly. Most mid power crushes are -13 on block, with some being -12. The only 3 that are launch punishable are Law's, Steve's, and Lee's. I can't stress this enough, Tekken has so many exceptions that none of these patterns always apply. These are just things to remember when playing unfamiliar matchups. I hope this helps someone out there. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.